learning everything about, what you like, what you don't like, your challenges, the way you solve problems, how you speak, how you think. And she truly becomes an extension of you. And in the future, you would actually be able to leverage your own Gabby to go generate revenue for you. When it's delivered through telecoms, you don't have to necessarily do extra things to train it, right? Because she's listening.
Okay.
So as you live your life normally, she's actually learning. So there's not a lot of work to be done. And when she gathers enough information, you are going to know what she's capable of word to word, right? There's a lot more to translation than just word to word, which is exactly what, Google, OpenAI, everybody has right now. You can use translation anywhere. But I ask you to think of this question, right? If I ask you to translate or talk about death, for example, to a 5-year-old, what has to go through? What is the process in which you have to go through to be able to speak to a 5-year-old about death?
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of What About AI Agents podcast. And today with us we have Cheryl Cunningham. She's a CEO of HURO AI, a leading AI innovation platform that she's going to talk to us about. She was previously a co-founder of DMSum Darling, which she sold. She's a marketing and strategy expert that specializes in branding and growth. So it would be really interesting to hear her kind of what she's working on now. And like Cheryl, please introduce yourself and let's get started.
Hi, Philip. Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here today. I'm founder of an AI company. What else? What other companies would you find nowadays?
Everybody's doing only AI.
Exactly. So, not too special, is it?
I mean, it depends on what problems you're solving for people, right? If you're
Yeah,
solving a
absolutely.
real problem and you're not just a ChatGPT wrapper, then you are. But tell me, what does Kuro do? Well, what is the point of the platform?
We want to democratize ASI, and we want to deliver ASI into the hands of every single person on the planet, and truly allow humanity to reach a golden era of innovation.
And by ASI, what do you mean by that?
Artificial superintelligence.
Super intelligence. That
Mhm.
hasn't landed yet. But I guess even what we have now is amazing, and we can give it into the hands of all the people. So how do you do that? How do you approach this kind? Is this through educational institutions, or who do you talk to? How do you bring this to the world?
We are just tiny little startup. We didn't start from anything substantial. We don't have billions of dollars, behind us or billion-dollar valuations yet. A couple of months ago is when we really started sort of making more of a splash and, debuting on the market, if you will. Prior to that, we were keeping fairly quiet. But our form of delivery is really, what's going to enable every single person on the planet to be able to have this technology. It is not an app-based technology. It is actually distributed through telecoms or through fiber optics, your
Hmm.
satellite signal, for example.
Okay, and is this more of a so? And I'm just trying to see if I have the right Huro AI. Is this the one? So you're basic. Is it the language interpretation one?
It is. It is.
And you're basically helping people break barriers when communicating internationally. Is that
To begin with, yes, this is how we begin. Everything is a step by step growth,
Mhm.
right? So, baby steps, we begin by inserting our technology into telecoms. And the first thing you will be able to get out of it in value is to be able to speak to anybody in the world instantly, seamlessly, without any apps. So, as soon as you pick up your cell phone, you just speak, and the other person will hear it in their native language.
Oh, and you're trying to integrate this technology with telecommunication
Correct.
specifically.
Exactly.
That's
This is
really
the this is the distribution method, right? Instead of delivering it through an app, which grandma doesn't know how to download ChatGPT. She doesn't know how to prompt ChatGPT, right? Neither does your waiter. Your waiter doesn't care about using ChatGPT. What they do care about is, can you make my life easier? And how can I get this technology without with zero learning curve? So that's what we're offering here is 100% distribution to anyone that has a connected device. You don't even have to be connected to Wi-Fi. You can actually just have a phone carrier service. You know, like if you have a 2G phone that is not a smartphone,
Mhm.
you can have AI on your phone and you can be able to speak to your AI. She can, perform tasks for you on your behalf. She's doing all this in the cloud, in the telecom cloud. And the data itself is being transported through fiber optics or satellite signal itself.
Oh, interesting. So, and which markets are you targeting for this? So I saw Saudi Arabia and UAE. So does this support Arabic then?
Do I support? I'm sorry. One more time.
Does the AI support Arabic language then? Can it speak with the
Yeah.
proper like UAE dialect and things like that?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. This is what's so interesting about the technology is that, we are not a generalized AI. So general as in, if you take a look at ChatGPT, it's general. You don't actually own ChatGPT in any way, right? But what we are proposing here is that every single person will get their own serialized version of their own AI. So I call her Gabby. You can call her something else, but she will be with you for life. She will grow with you. You can nurture her. She will be a serialized version in which you can even hand down to your kids in the future if you would like. But as she learns from you, she's learning everything about, what you like, what you don't like, your challenges, the way you solve problems, how you speak, how you think. And she truly becomes an extension of you. And in the future, you would actually be able to leverage your own Gabby to go generate revenue for you.
Right. So it's like a digital twin,
It
and this
is.
digital twin is
Mhm.
basically focusing on. So how does this digital twin learn from you? So you said it integrates through the telecom,
Correct.
uh, and it intercepts your cell phone signal, and then it trans- translates it.
Yeah, yeah. So it doesn't intercept it, it actually sits within. It's kind of like, think about it like how your cable TV is delivered to you, or how a phone call comes to you. It is delivered in exactly the same way. And so, once it's listening to your conversations, it's going to learn from you, right? It's just like if you hire a personal assistant to shadow you all day long.
Mm-hmm.
After a day, she knows, some details about you, but after a week, she's going to know, what you like to eat in general. What cuisine is your favorite? Are you on a diet? Whatever it might be. So after a month, you can imagine she probably has enough information from you to even potentially make some decisions on your behalf. So that's what we're headed towards is, how do we go lay on the beach and have somebody generate revenue for us?
Right. So how do you deal with privacy though? So let's say these people um do they opt into this kind of a service? Is this
Yeah,
something that they subscribe uh,
right, correct.
or through with the telecom provider, or how do
Exactly.
you deal with people who are like privacy conscious, or they have some sort of private, intimate conversations with their loved ones?
Right, right. So, a lot of the private data will actually be on the edge. So you're basically your hardware, right? Those are
Mm.
ultra sensitive information on your hardware. Other than that, the rest of it is in the cloud that, of course, is under your subscription, under your control. And yes, you do call your carrier to subscribe to your carrier. And this is one of those reasons why we are wholesaling it to carriers instead of us doing it as a company, because we recognize that, telecoms is a very heavily regulated
Mm,
industry. They have all the regulations that consumers really need to be able to protect themselves. So we are basically just piggybacking on their infrastructure.
mm, right, right. So, having said that, so if people want this kind of privacy, and they is there a so because it's a very different use case, let's say, from having a digital twin to having a translation, right? So, I can imagine a lot of people would love to have the ability to converse to people in
Hmm.
multiple countries with multiple languages, right?
Yes.
But let's say uh, there is lots of people who are concerned about their privacy. So when they're having these discussions, and will this be also monitoring WhatsApp and Telegram and other type of kind of conversations, or it will be just on the phone?
It is on your phone, yeah. So, not just phone, of course. I mean, any kind of connected device that you want, that you're able to communicate with, if because it's delivered through connectivity, you can have Gabby on any connected device. So Gabby can actually travel with you, if you will, from your cell phone to your IoT device to your car.
Mm.
And
And does
this,
it, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
and does it exist now? So can somebody download Gabby and work with it, or is it still work in progress?
The consumer side is still a work in progress. We are currently, we have some telecom companies that we're working with right now. They are, international global telecom companies. So I would say, be prepared for this. It is going to come soon. We're very, very excited about it. Um, but, right now we're really just testing it internally within the telecom companies' own, agents, for example. Every telecom company has, telecom agents that work for them. So we are testing out within their organization first. And the natural next step would be then to, when we are all ready, to then integrate it into the connectivity itself
Mm.
to deliver it to consumers.
And what made you decide to start this company? Like, what prompted the decision that this is what I'm going to be doing for the next like 10 years? Like,
Man, I see a different future for humanity. Um, I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years, and I've been just, call it slaving away, call it working, my tail off. Um, and what I realized, at the end of the day is there's so much more to life than just work. But, we have, us humans, we have really built ourselves into this, some people may call it a prison. Some people may call it heaven if they really like working. But we have built this environment for ourselves in which we are constantly stressed, right? We're constantly trying to put food on the table, trying to make ends meet. And I think humanity with AI has reached a whole different level of attaining that humanity we all wish for, which is, I want to go lay on the beach. I want AI to be able to work on my behalf, generate revenue on my behalf, um, and spend quality time with your loved ones, on yourself, pursue what you really like to do in life. I think we're very close to that kind of a civilization.
that makes total sense. How will the AI work for you? I mean, there is a broader discussion about AI and how it can integrate into the economy, and a lot of the
Mhm.
crypto people we have on this show, they talk about integrating these uh, agents within the decentralized crypto network, so they have like some form of like reward. But how do you see on your end this notion of the bot working for you and making money for you. And what will I have to give in return to get that?
That's the beauty of this technology that we have is when it's delivered through telecoms, you don't have to necessarily do extra things to train it, right? Because she's listening.
Okay.
So as you live your life normally, she's actually learning. So there's not a lot of work to be done. And when she gathers enough information, you are going to know what she's capable of achieving, right? You're going to ask her to start doing some basic tasks for you, put things on the calendar, book a restaurant for me, simple things like that. And if she does a good job of it, then you're going to promote her, right? It's just like hiring an assistant. If she's doing a great job and she's capable of more, you're going to give her more and more responsibilities. And that's essentially what it is. At some point, she's going to be able to have enough data on you and understand enough about your business and what your goals, mission, vision is to be able to help you actually achieve your goals, which then is putting her to work. So I'll give you an example, right? Concrete example. If you are a business advisor, for
Mm-hmm.
example, and every day you talk to 5 startups a day, you're
Mm-hmm.
giving vital information, valuable information to all these companies. You don't write a book about it, you just consult and they pay you for your hours. But what if after 3 years you have such valuable wisdom that you can aggregate all this and tell Gabby, hey, go monetize it for me. And not only that, Gabby, I want you to now start taking clients for me.
Mm, right. So the bot learns on how you communicate in real life.
Mhm.
It monitors all your actions and conversations, and then eventually it can be utilized to perform actions for you on your behalf based on what it
Correct.
knows about.
Exactly.
So it's a very ambitious and broad vision.
Mhm.
So how do you implement this? So do you have already existing kind of contracts with telecoms, or are you in discussions? Where are you looking to launch this?
We do. We have several telecoms right now that we are doing POCs with. We have past POCs. We're moving on to negotiations. We've got agreements. So, yes, we are very much on our way. And some of the telecom companies that we're speaking to are global companies. So, we're very excited about our traction that we've received. And it really is because interpretation is such an important, vital part of business communications. And now that all companies are pretty much scaling across the globe, interpretation has truly become, one of the cornerstones of scaling your company. So that is why our first feature, our first capability that Gabby has is interpretation.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense because it's an easy way to get into the businesses, and
Right.
it's a way to sell. So how do you differentiate yourself? What is your defensible moat, so to speak?
Well, part of our IP is, of course, the whole telecoms part of things that I was telling you about. But
Right.
aside from that, we have figured out how to uh, basically have human cognition transformed into algorithms. So, in developing ASI, if you will, you really do have to create essentially another species. Um, and if you think that human cognition is, one of the most intelligent species that we can model after, then that is what we have actually figured out how to do. So, what this means is that we have the formula for ASI.
Mm, right. And and you're trying to train it on telecom data and partnering with telecoms. That makes sense. So how does the current changes in the AI landscape impact you because there's a lot of new models being released. They're getting a lot better. They're getting a lot smarter. Uh, you know, how do you see them? Are you seeing them as competitors? How do you see them?
Yeah, I mean, naturally, of course, any sort of AGI, ASI is going to be direct competitors with us. I think at the end of the day, it really this AI race, if you will, is really going to come down to a few things. But the most important of all is which one will the public accept? And I don't mean, the general LLM, which LLM will the public use today? I'm referring to which LLM or which AI will the public be comfortable living side by side with? Right? So that's an entirely different story or decision that we have to make as a humanity.
Right. And there's a lot of these agents that are launching now, right? Especially voice agents and call center agents. I know YC is backing a bunch of companies in this
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And I guess your innovation is that you're basically focusing on high quality, like transcription and high quality, uh, basically high quality international communication, and that's your kind of secret sauce as well.
Yeah, basically, translation is not word to word, right? There's a
Mm.
lot more to translation than just word to word, which is exactly what, Google, OpenAI, everybody has right now. You can use translation anywhere. But I ask you to think of this question, right? If I ask you to translate or talk about death, for example, to a 5-year-old, what is the process in which you have to go through to be able to speak to a 5-year-old about death? You have to think of a lot of things, and very quickly, right? You have to think, okay, what is the amount of vocabulary that this 5-year-old has? What are life experience that this 5-year-old has in order for me to draw an analogy or explain what it's like so that they would understand?
Mm.
And then you have to also think about, well, how do I say this in a way that's not going to give them nightmares? So these are just some of the things that permeate through our brain whenever we interpret. So, you know, the way that all our competitors are doing it is more of a general term. More of a general, pathway. But we are building a ASI. We are not just building a translation tool. So when we are building ASI that can help you run your business, help you run your life, generate revenue for you, you have to go far deeper than just word to word translation.
Right, right. And LLMs, they do that right now. So, um, but that does bring a good point where having an international system that's connected to telecoms is a very, very, very powerful tool, and it definitely is an amazing business. So, where do you see the future of this technology? How do you see the future of this tech evolve, and where do you see new applications for agents, for people who are building this tech?
I think apps are going to be RIP soon, basically. Apps are no longer going to be how you know apps to be today. I think it's going to become skills and tools. I believe that there is going to be a few AGIs or ASI, whatever you want to call it. There's only going to be a few in the world that humanity actually trusts, and those ASI, AGI, they're going to become almost a centralized, unified hub, if you will, so that people can communicate, network, and transact through that AGI, hub that each of us has personally. So I think it's going to become a much more unified world in the future.
Mm.
And at the heart of it all, I think it's really all about relieving humans to do what they love.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially when we talk about these kind of models that are personalized. When we're talking about personalized
Yes.
models that are built for each humans or for each family, they have access to those models, and whoever can provide them that will be their provider of this.
Right. Exactly.
And I mean, the only question is privacy, but if people agree to it, then they will have their own kind of private AI that serves as part of their family AI.
I don't know if we really even have privacy anymore nowadays, right?
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah, that's true.
seriously. Uh, but you'll be, with Gabby, you'll actually be able to manage all your data. Um, it will be actually personalized, and it will be confidential to you, encrypted, and all the above, so on and so forth. I think what's really exciting is that why are we hyper personalizing it? Because anytime you go to make a decision, anytime you go to write an email or a letter, anytime you go write a book, for example, and you have your Gabby help you with it, you no longer need to train Gabby on how you want it to be written. You no longer have to say, well, write it in a human tone. This is the kind of style that I want. Oh, by the way, I have to tell you my entire life backstory. No, because Gabby's already going to know all this information. And based on all that, she's actually helping you make better decisions in your life, too. You
Right.
know,
Yeah, this is definitely something that the world needs, and definitely something that I would be interested in following. I think to us this is extremely interesting project. And your idea of integrating with telecoms and bringing this over to the telecom sector and kind of having that level of go to market is very unique. It's a very unique approach towards bringing LLMs over to market.
thank you, thank you. We're very excited about it, and I think that's probably the most exciting piece for me in this business is knowing that we can actually put this in the hands of everyone in the world and truly level the playing field. That's my personal mission, right? Is to ensure that we don't leave behind a huge set of population while the rest of us are accelerating beyond everybody else, that we're also pulling along everyone else as well. We can't leave them behind.
Yeah, and I think it's a very honorable mission to have, Cheryl, and
Thank you.
we're really excited for you.
Thank you.
Uh, so this was Cheryl Cunningham. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was really good to have you today with us. And we are really excited about the future of HURO AI and how this tech will, help people across different countries understand each other better, and how it will become eventually people's personalized digital twin and AI assistant. So many different applications for this. So really excited for you about this.
Thank you so much, Philip, for having me. I wish you the best for your show.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Have a nice day.
And you too.